You're in a crowded room. Someone collapses. You wait. You look around. You wait a little longer. Somewhere in your mind, a calculation is happening. It has nothing to do with kindness. It has nothing to do with courage. It is older than both. In 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in New York City. Newspapers reported that dozens of neighbors heard her cries and did nothing. That number was later disputed. But the story spread, and two psychologists became obsessed with a single question. Why does a crowd of witnesses sometimes produce zero rescuers? Their names were John Darley and Bib Latané. What they discovered would rewrite everything you think you know about human compassion, and it starts with a truth most people never want to hear. More witnesses does not mean more help. More witnesses often means less. Picture yourself at a party. Someone in another room screams. You freeze for a second. You glance at the people near you. They aren't moving, so you don't move either. That pause has a name. Researchers call it pluralistic ignorance. Everyone is scared. Everyone is unsure. But everyone is reading everyone else's calm face as a signal that nothing is actually wrong. So the room stays calm on the outside while panic sits quietly on the inside of every single person in it. Darley and Latané tested this in a now famous 1968 experiment. Participants sat alone in a room, supposedly having a discussion over an intercom with other participants. In reality, the other voices were recordings. During the conversation, one voice began to choke and call for help, appearing to suffer a seizure. When participants believed they were the only listener, 85% rushed to help within a minute. When they believed 4 other people were also listening, that number dropped to 31%. Some never helped at all. Read that again. The presence of other people didn't make anyone feel safer. It made them feel less responsible. This is called diffusion of responsibility. And it isn't a flaw, it's a feature. Your ancestors lived in small bands, rarely more than 150 people. In a group that size, everyone knew who was supposed to do what. If danger appeared, responsibility was clear, immediate, personal. There was no crowd to hide inside. There was no one else it could have been. Modern life broke that system without your brain noticing. Cities put thousands of strangers in the same space. Your mind still runs the old math. It looks around, counts the witnesses, and quietly divides the weight of responsibility by however many people are standing there. The more people present, the smaller your slice becomes. Mathematically, your slice can shrink close to nothing. But is this really about laziness? About people not caring? The data says otherwise. In follow-up studies, researchers found that most non-helpers were sweating, visibly distressed, hands shaking, while they sat and did nothing. They weren't indifferent. They were paralyzed. Something older than their own values had taken the wheel. There's a second force at work here too, and it's just as ancient. It's called evaluation apprehension. Simply put, you're afraid of misreading the situation and looking foolish in front of others. What if that isn't actually an emergency? What if you're wrong? What if everyone stares? Anthropologists studying social hierarchies in early hunter-gatherer groups found something striking. Status wasn't just won through strength. It could be lost through public error. A miscalculated action, a false alarm, a moment of visible panic when others stayed composed. These could cost a person standing in the group for a long time. So natural selection didn't just favor bravery. It favored a very specific kind of caution. Watch first. Confirm the danger is real. Let someone else move first if possible. In a group of strangers, that ancient caution turns into silence. Everyone is watching everyone else, waiting for someone to break the freeze, and nobody wants to be the one who moves too soon and is wrong. Here's where it gets stranger. This isn't unique to humans standing near an emergency. Something almost identical shows up in wildlife. Meerkats posted as sentries take turns. But when several sentries are present at once, each individual meerkat spends less time actively watching for predators. Shared vigilance means less vigilance per animal. The group feels safer. The group is, in some measurable ways, actually less alert. Sound familiar? Psychologist Darley Latané went on to study this pattern across dozens of situations beyond emergencies, tipping in restaurants, applauding at events, even littering behavior. He found the same underlying principle again and again. As the number of people present increases, each individual's felt responsibility to act decreases, following a strikingly consistent mathematical curve. He called it social impact theory, the idea that responsibility